Oh, welcome to Whisky Web Wednesday, folks. You're joining us here in the warehouse at Shelter Point Distillery. And here's my good pal, Foodquig, the legend. He's honoured us with a visit.
Well, you invited me, and you set us up so well. You've been so hospitable. How could I possibly refuse?
Cheers to that. Yeah. So Foodquig and I, we did a wee video with Greg's Whiskey Guide in France a couple of weeks ago. And you mentioned coming up for a visit. So
yeah, and here we are. This is what was it the first? Is it the second today?
Second. I think.
Yeah, it's the 2nd of October.
Yeah.
And yeah, 2 weeks ago I said, yeah, I'll be up there on the 1st of October. So we got here last night. Lisa came along with, and we had a nice drive up, and we've had a wonderful time being here, just hanging out and just drinking whiskey.
Yeah.
I brought some of my Infinity bottles along.
Yeah.
And that would include the Shelter Point Infinity bottle.
Which was incredible.
Yeah.
So good.
Leon likes my Infinities, so...
We're talking about, what, 20, 30 Shelter Points?
We're talking about every Shelter Point that I opened in the last 2.5 years, maybe.
Yeah.
Plus even some samples from the warehouse over here that were, I would taste them and then I'd have half of a huge sample left. Oh, let's put that in the Infinity.
Yeah.
And we mixed in a little bit, and we split up the bottle in two, and then we had 2 bottles that were about 3/4 full, and I poured one into the other to bring a full bottle up here. Then we brought some what did we bring? Speyside, some Islay, some Highland, and the Canadian one with the
80-20 mix.
The 80-20 mix,
Yeah.
approximately.
Yeah.
It could have been 85.
80% Canadian whiskey, 20% Islay whiskey. It's a really unusual, fantastic blend.
It comes along like a Canadian whiskey, a little bit bland, a little bit rye, a lot of corn, and then you sip it and you go, while you're sloshing it around in your mouth, it goes through this transition and gives you the Islay peat finish.
Yeah. It's got a lovely little kick at the end. Superb.
Yeah.
So what we're doing here is we're actually tasting these 2 barrels.
Which also has a lovely kick.
Yep. So these are our 2 Ardbeg barrels, which will be used for the Prohibition Release, which will be launched when we reopen the store, hopefully in the next month or so. So Foodquig's trying this one here, which is 179, and I'm trying 178. So why don't you sit in your barrel here
Oh, hell yeah.
and tell us what you think of your...
Well, I tried this first. It gave me fresh cut grass and creosote. And you could tell that there was some Shelter Point in there, but I didn't quite get the Tootsie Roll chocolate.
Yeah.
However, it's interesting in that when I added some water to it, it softened the influence from the barrel, the peat smoke, and made it more earthy.
Yeah.
And this is what I'm getting right now. An earthy creosote, fresh cut grass, lovely whiskey. And strong as hell, so it will just knock you on your ass.
Straight from the cask, we're talking about 60-odd% here.
Yeah.
And then this one's quite similar, but I would say it's a little sweeter and maybe a little bit more peat on the nose as well.
I'm gonna have to try that slightly sweeter, more peated.
Yeah.
Because on the nose, I'm getting it's a very earthy peat on this 179.
So I think this will be a worthy whiskey to celebrate our reopening, wouldn't you say?
I would say so, yes, most emphatically.
Cheers to that. Yeah. So thanks for joining us here in the warehouse at Shelter Point. Keep an eye out for the Prohibition Release. Once we've finally got it bottled, I will do another video and I'll tell you more about the specific details of the expression at the time. If you haven't done so already, make sure you subscribe to Foodquig's channel. How many are you at now? Is it over 12,000 subscribers?
12,800 odd, yeah.
Yeah. So Foodquig is probably the biggest YouTuber for whiskey on the west coast of Canada. Would you say, in terms of subscribers?
Could be. I don't usually pay attention. I just know how many I got.
Yeah. But Foodquig is essentially the Ralphie of west coast Canadian whiskey.
You flatter me.
You've been going for how long now?
As Foodquig?
Yeah.
I think it's about 6 or 7 years I've been tasting whiskey on the channel. And before that, we were doing food. That's why we got the name Foodquig. But then we got that one video that went viral, and it's got over 2 million views.
Yeah.
So I didn't change it to Whiskyquig or anything. I just kept the Foodquig name because that's where I can be found.
Yeah, if you want to check out that video, it's the Lefroy 10-year-old.
Lefroy 10-year-old, the go-to Islay malt.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah. So yeah.
Speaking of which, there's a new 10-year-old that came out not long ago with the sherry cask, and it's fantastic. You gotta try that. You gotta try it. It's wonderful. Superb stuff. Yeah.
And Foodquig's almost famous for the anaconda. Should we do an anaconda?
Yeah, let's do an anaconda. Sure. I'm doing them not as often as I used to.
Yeah.
Because after a while, you got a little fat. It wears out, but I can still do them. I just.
Are you double jointed or something? Is it?
I think my brain is wired backwards, so it can do that.
Yeah. But the way I see Foodquig is he's like the whiskey Buddha. He can sit there and just contemplate his dram and just give it deep thought, and he comes up with these beautiful words of wisdom. And for Shelter Point, his favourite tasting note is
Tootsie Roll chocolate.
Tootsie Roll chocolate.
I'm not getting it here this time, though.
You're not? No Tootsie Roll chocolate?
No, it's covered over by an overcoat of peat smoke.
Ardbeg's dominating the Tootsie Roll chocolate.
It's that earthy Ardbeg that's, yeah. If the Ardbeg was gone, I'm sure I'd get Tootsie Roll from here.
And if anyone's wondering from the UK what a Tootsie Roll is, it's actually like a little chocolate bar. It's kind of like...
it's like a chewy chocolate bar.
It's almost like Rolos or something like that. So chocolate with caramel or something,
well, Rolo is more like a... Oh yeah, it's like a Rolo, but it's a different chocolate. There's no filling in it. Yeah. It's just a one piece of solid. It's like a.
It's harder.
It's harder and chewy.
Yeah.
It's like a fudge.
Yeah.
Yeah, kinda.
Yeah. Okay. Well, thanks everyone for joining us. I hope you enjoyed that little video, and we will see you for future videos.
And
Cheers.
Slanjava.
Slanjava.